You were strong. All right, I am live. Yep. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. I am sorry, I'm about 2 minutes late. Thereabouts. Good afternoon. Oh, 3 minutes. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this live broadcast. Welcome to PTM live broadcast. Um, Welcome this beautiful Thursday afternoon. How have you been? How are you guys doing? It's a new month. It's a beautiful new month. December, that's like my favorite month of the okay, apart from my birthday month that happens to be in March. Okay, so I love Christmas. I love the season, the whole vibe you have, in December. All right, so my name is Maribeth Shima. I am the convener of the group Parenting Through Mentorship. You can find us on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. Welcome to our Thursday Hangout. We do this every Thursday. We come out here and we talk about topical issues on parenting, right? I was talking to a friend yesterday and I said to her, something, the issue of parenting is actually universal. So whether you live in the US, in the UK, in America, in Japan or in Nigeria, whether you live in Isolo or you live in Port Harcourt, the challenges we have as parents are actually universal. All right, so if you are here with us, if you join us on these live broadcasts, please say something in the comments. Let us know you are with us. Let us know. Okay, I see Nenelu. Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm supposed to reach you for something. Good afternoon, ma'am. It's good to have you. All right, if you join us, please don't just stay in the background. Please say something in the comments. Say hello. Let us know you are here and let us know where you are watching us from. And if you are catching the replay, please, by all means, let us know that you are catching the replay. It's always exciting to be here on Thursday. So we're just going to go right into the matter of the day. All right. So I said we're talking about parenting advantage. Yes, I know it is a phrase that is used in the corporate world. So usually when you hear parenting advantage, you're talking, it's a phrase in the corporate world. So usually you will hear companies like Apple, companies like GE, big companies like that have subsidiaries that these big names happen to be their parent companies. And so by virtue of being, subsidiaries from these big companies, they have certain advantages that they enjoy from the parent company. And so we call that the parenting advantage. And we know even in the corporate world that this parenting advantage can actually affect the company positively or negatively. So the fact that you have a parenting advantage or you have a parent company doesn't mean that your advantage will be positive. Do you understand? So we are taking the same concept and we're bringing it to parenting, right? Welcome. Good afternoon, Ayobami. Thank you. Please, if you're here on YouTube, if you join us on Facebook, please let us know that you're here. Say hello, say hi, and then tell us where you're joining us from. So we're talking about parenting advantage, not in the corporate world. So we're going to be talking about it in quotes. Parenting advantage in quotes, in parenting. What advantage can your child have simply because you are a kind of parent? Hi, Missy Callan. It's good to have you. All right. So what advantage can your child have simply because of who or what kind of parents you are? That's what we are looking at today. So as I said, if you're here, please rave and let us know where you're watching us from. All right. So we're going to move right into the business of today. So let me try and give some perspective or definition to what I mean by a parent who gives their child an advantage. So you are that parent, a parent who is an advantage, who gives the child an edge that puts the child ahead or puts the child in a better place than a child from an average home, or from a better place, okay, from a child whose parents is not a certain way. So what can you do, or who can you be as a parent that will say, okay, that your child has an edge, or that your child has an advantage simply because you are their parents? Okay, so first of all, you have to be that parent that has come to a place of emotional stability. Okay, maybe stability is extreme, right? Or it's like the highest point. So you are that parent that has come to a place of emotional consciousness. Let me use that. Okay, so when you are a parent that has come to a place of emotional consciousness, okay, you are conscious and you are intentional about your emotions and how you manage them in your relationship with your children. Okay, that kind of parent would be giving their child some advantage, an edge, right, over their contemporaries or over children like them. All right, another group of parents, okay, or another aspect or another attribute that a parent would have, that you say, okay, this child has an advantage because of who their parent is. A parent that's been able to deal with his or her childhood traumas, a parent that's been able to take that journey down memory lane, that's been able to take that journey down, that's gone back to their childhood and then looked at how their childhood was, what was right, what was wrong, what could have been better, what didn't I like, what did not end up playing out well in my life. Okay, a parent who is able to make that journey and so is able to take the understanding, or is able to take whatever they get from that journey and apply it into being a better parent to their child. When a child has this kind of parents, we say, yes, this child has got some advantage. All right, a parent, and three, a parent who has gotten, to a place in their journey when a place in their life where they're able to look at the mistakes that they made in the past. They're able to look at their own experiences growing up, and they don't allow those experiences to project in the way they don't take it and directly project it as fear in the life of their parents, when you are of their children, when you are the kind of parent that has gone through, you looked back at the things that you went through. You went through an abortion, you went through abuse, right? You went through abuse, you went through an abortion, you were abused in whatever way. Abuse could be anything, could be emotional. Sorry, let me just silence this so that it doesn't disturb me. All right, sorry about that. So you've gone through certain things in your life and you have used those things. You've been able to come to a place where you're able to use these experiences to empower your children rather than to project fear into the lives of your children. Because what happens a lot of times is when we go through this journey, or because we remember the experiences or the memory of the experiences that we had growing up are still fresh in our head, or we've not been able to overcome them, we've not had therapy, we've not forgiven ourselves or forgiven the people in our past or whatever it is in our past. Okay, we've not forgiven our background. You came from a poor background, you struggled, you paid yourself through school, all of this happened in your life. Okay, you are that one that did not have shoes. How did Jonathan put it that time? He didn't have shoes, or he wore what kind of shoes? Okay, whatever it is, you're that parent that has gone through that harshness in your life. And so what happens in your own life, when you now have your children, you begin to project this fear. So this fear becomes the reason behind is the motivation, okay, in your life, such that you are constantly afraid. You're constantly afraid of where you're coming from. So you see your children and you're driving them so hard because you know what poverty feels like and you don't want them to experience the same thing. So because of that, you are strict with your children. You are driving them and pushing them too hard. It's not coming from a place, or it's not coming from a positive place. It's coming from a place of fear. So you do not want them to experience what you experience. So you're going to do everything in your power to make sure. So because of that, you want them to be a certain way. You want to drive them a certain way. You want to push them a certain way. And in all of that, you end up disconnecting with your children, and you end up just making their lives practically miserable, all in the name of fear. So when you're a parent that's been able to deal with your experiences, and you've been able to look back at your experiences, and you use them to empower your children rather than become a fear-based, you turn your parenting into some sort of a fear-based kind of parenting, then we say your child would be advantageous, or your child will have the parenting advantage simply because you have come thus far. Okay. Now, the last group of parents are parents who are knowledgeable. So when you, as a parent, get to a point where you tell yourself, you see, this parenting, it is not something that you will. This parenting is not something that you chance. This parenting is a serious matter. When you get to the point as a parent that you recognize that parenting is as serious as a career, if not more serious than a career. Okay, when you get to the point and you say to yourself, parenting is a big deal, parenting is huge, parenting is something that I need to learn, parenting is something that I need to put my heart to, and then you go on to get knowledge in your parenting, right? You go on to get knowledge in your parenting, and you're able to use that in supporting your children. Kind of parents, we can hit our chest and say, oh, what's the parenting advantage? Because it will go a long way, okay, it'll go a long way in helping the child learn how to navigate the world. All right. So these are, when you have all of this, you've considered all of these, you can now say that this child, sorry, 1 second. You can now say this child has got the parenting advantage. All right. Now, why parenting advantage? Let's look at some examples, right, of parents that have used their advantage. Sorry, there's someone that is calling. Sorry, just 1 second, please. 1 second, please. Sorry, guys. No. Sorry, please. I have an urgent concern. All right, sorry about this. Okay. So, all right, so I'm so sorry about this. All right, so I'm back right now. All right, so when the child has all of these, right, we said the child has got some parenting advantage. Now let's look at some parents, right? Let's look at some parents or some children that had the parenting advantage and how it went on to play out in their lives, even right from when they're young. All right, so in my book, Bedtime Stories for Champions, right, you have this book. Does your child have this book? All right, so in Bedtime Stories for Champions, I talked a lot about, the whole book is about young people who are doing amazing things, young people who are starting early to impact the world, young people who are identifying, whose parents have helped them identify their talents, their interests, and they've positioned themselves, right, or positioned themselves, right, to help the children begin to pursue those talents, those interests, and make a difference even right from when they are young. All right, so I talked about, I have over 20 stories in this book. Okay, so I have over 20 stories in this book, right, that, inspiring stories about young people who are doing amazing things already. All right, so I talked of the story of Esther Okade, right? Esther Okade is a Nigerian child, right? Is the child from both Nigerian parents, okay, even though she lives in the UK. And the story of Esther is such that the little Esther went to school, and when she was about 3 or so, she didn't like it in school because she said they wouldn't allow her speak as she wanted to speak and all of that. So the child felt uncomfortable in school, and so she came home and would refuse to go back to school. Now her mom, thinking, okay, it's just a little girl who, she's just she hasn't acclimatized yet, and she's just 3. It's okay, let's just stay home for another year or so, and then she'll be fine when we go back to school. So the mom kept her at home and decided to homeschool her. So she started homeschooling her. Now her mom had learned, I mean, her mom is, I think she did mathematics in school or something like that. So she started looking for fun ways to teach her daughter. Right, she started looking for fun ways to teach her daughter mathematics and all of that. And in that whole space, or during that period, she realized that there was something genius about this girl and the way she learned math and all that. And before they knew it, they realized she was really different and she was exceptional. By the time Esther was 7 years old, she was able to take standardized exams, right, for children in high school, and she passed it. Now, by the time Esther was 10 years old, she was ready to take standardized exams that will allow her entrance into college. Now, how did this happen? This only happened because she had a mother, or she has a mother who was willing to sit with her and help her harness something that she could see in her daughter. She had the mother who could say, you know something, yeah, you can't go to school right now. What's more important to me is the comfort of my child. What's more important to me is what works for this child. And so I am able to spend some time, perhaps 1 hour in a day, 2 hours in a day, and then work with this child, okay, pending when she's really, really ready for school. Perhaps I took her too early. It took a mother who was ready to do all of that, who was ready to be present. It took a mother who was ready to be present, a mother who was ready to go that learn, right, to give this child the advantage. Now, Esther, I think she should be somewhere in her 20s right now. And I think last time I read anything about her, I think she was already a professor or a doctor or something like that. But basically, she's made leaps, and already with her family, they're sponsoring children in school. They're doing things, they're already giving back to the community. So you see an advantage simply because there is a parent who's ready to be present and is ready to give to the child whatever it will take to help the child become the best version of themselves. Okay, the next story, all the stories are in Bedtime Stories for Champion. The next story is the story of Mosiah Bridges. So Mosiah Bridges was taught by his grandmother to sew. So grandma had the machine in her kitchen. And so when they're cooking or whatever they're doing, he would use, grandma would sew, okay? Grandma would sew and all of that. And so grandma taught him how to sew. And because he was that boy, or is that boy that likes to wear sharp things, he likes to look sharp and all of that. So there was this time he needed to go to school or something. He needed to go for probably a ball or something like that. And he wanted something really unique and different. And he made a bow tie for himself. He made a bow tie for himself and went for that event. And when other people saw the tie, they liked it. Okay, his friends liked it. And what did he do? He tapped into it immediately. He could only tap into it because he had a mother who could help him expand his horizon and help him look at himself as someone that can create solutions to a problem. And so that's how this boy started. And before we know it, he is huge right now. He even had to he makes ties and makes nexties, or whatever they call them. He makes ties, and then he makes all these amazing things for celebrities, right? He should be in his 20s right now, but he started when he was only about 9 or so, right? Most bows, that's what he calls his company. But the company has gone on to be huge right now. At the time I wrote the story, and he was planning to actually start his own fashion line where he sells suits and things like that when he becomes 20, at the point when he gets to college. Okay, now this is a child that could only go this far or do this far because he had a grandmother that took her time to teach him how to sew. And then he has a mother that took her time. At the time, the mother was the accountant of the company. The mother was the one behind the scene doing everything. He said at some point that the mom had to work with him to create some sort of structure such that he could take care of the business and still take care of his schoolwork at the same time. And so nothing was suffering. This is only because he has the parenting advantage. All right. There's also Corey Neves. Okay, Corey wanted to, I mean, he wanted to have a car. He wanted them to have a car. Okay, and his mother, he and his mom didn't have a car. So he had to like take the bus and all of that. And he didn't like it at some point. And so his mom said, we can't afford a car. I mean, we can't. And he decided not to just sit down. He decided to do something about it. And so he started selling cocoa. He started selling cocoa in the neighborhood, right? And so it was like a joke at the time, but at some point his mom had to key in and she started supporting him. So she will help him make the cocoa and all that. After a while, they were like, just cocoa, what goes with cocoa? And then they decided to add cookies to the cocoa. All right. So at some point, they started right in her kitchen and they were doing this. He would go to the neighborhood, he would sell in the neighborhood and all that. But the mom was behind the scene doing the real work while he does the sales. Do you understand? This can only be possible because the mom did not trivialize what it is that he wanted to do. The mom did not trivialize the fact that he had an interest. She was ready to give to him the parenting advantage that he needed at the time. Right? Is it the story of Logan Gulaf, the chef, right? Logan won Master Chef one of these years. I can't remember what year exactly, right? But Logan had a mom who supported him. He loved to cook. He learned to cook. He started cooking according to him, right? He started making coffee, he started making coffee and tea for people at home right from when he was about 2. All right. So he loved it in the kitchen. He will go into the kitchen. He will make cocoa. He will make coffee for whoever wanted coffee and all of that. He actually said one of his best places in the world was in the kitchen. So little wonder, by the time he was 14, thereabout, he won the Master Chef, right? He won Master Chef Junior, right? But at some point, the mother noticed that he didn't want to write. He didn't like writing at all. So what did she do? She decided that they should start a food blog. She decided they should start a food blog. So he would go to small restaurants in the neighborhood and then find out. He would go into the kitchen, have an appointment with the chef, and then find out. He was very interested and intrigued about tastes. Oh, what's going on here? So he was very intrigued about, spice and taste and all of that, because, I mean, as a chef, he was very interested in, food and all of that. And so he will go and he will have those interviews with his chef and he will come back and have to write in the blog. So that was his mom's way of getting him to write, right? You won't write about anything else. I mean, she knew that he loved food and all of that. And so she knew he would write about food. So she tactically, introduced the blog, and he was excited, and that's how she was able to improve his writing. It only takes a mother that is ready to give a child the advantage. It only takes a knowledgeable mother. It only takes a purposeful parent to go this length, right? To be this creative in helping their child succeed or helping their child become successful. Now, this is what I mean when I'm talking about the parenting advantage. All right? All the stories and bedtime stories for champions. Okay? Is it the case of Malala? At the point where they shut down the schools, right? When the Taliban shut down the schools in Pakistan and all that, Malala already had a voice because her father taught her that her voice mattered. I mean, she can only be a child that has been listened to by her parents. She can only be a child that has been allowed to express themselves, okay, or express herself, right, in her home. That's the only thing that will give her the audacity to want to express herself outside. So as a parent, if you're shutting down your child at home, if you're not allowing your children speak and express themselves, if you are constantly telling them how they talk so much, definitely that kind of child is not going to talk outside also. But at the point where Malala started blogging, right, at the point where she started writing articles, right, for the British government, something like that, at that point, who do you think was supporting her? It was her father. Okay, she was undercover at the time. It was her father supporting her everywhere, every step of the way. Now, I mean, many years later, who is Malala? Do you not know Malala? I mean, the world over, she is relevant. The world over, she's an activist. The world over, she is a relevant personality. And this did not start in her 40s. It didn't start in her 50s. It started right when she was a teenager. All right? Now let's go to the story of Asia Newson. Asia Newson, the candle girl, right? So Asia followed her father around because there was no one to take care of her at home. So she will follow her father around while he pitched, to different companies, for his company. He will pitch, here and there and all of that. And after a while, after following her father, going around with her father for so long, she started doing the pitches for him, and she could actually do a sales pitch even better than her father. And before you know it, she started her own business in the same line. She started selling candles, and then she will pitch and all of that. She will pitch even at basically, she will even pitch to investors and all of that. Why do you think she could do that? Because she had the parenting advantage. Remember, modeling. Her father modeled to her, and then she stepped into his shoes. Now, this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the parenting advantage. Is it the story of Acing Moore? All of it in Bedtime Story for Champions, okay? The story of Acing Moore. In Acing's case, she will talk when she comes back from school. Talk. And her mother thought about it one day. All this talk. You have so much to tell. You have so many stories. Your stories are exciting. Why don't we journal the stories? Why don't we journal the stories? And so her mom got her a journal and then told her, write it down in your journal. And that's how this young lady started writing down in her journal what happened in school every day. So she goes to school, and then she comes back, and then she takes a journal and she journals all that she learned, all that happened in school, this person, that person, and all of that. She will write it all down. And guess what? She wrote a book out of it. And she's gone on to write two or three other books, right? What is she writing about? The life in high school, middle school, okay? Life in middle school, life in basically how you can fare when you are in these places. So a child is going to middle school, and the first thing she's thinking about is how to grab this book and read it, because it gives her an idea what to expect. All because there is a mother that could think outside the box. All because there is a parent that is willing to give the child an edge, right? Beyond, an edge over her contemporaries. Basically, this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the parenting advantage. Is it the story of Zuriel? Zuriel, the Nigerian girl in America and all of that. And Zuriel has she's interviewed so many presidents and people of high caliber and all of that. But her very first interview with the president of Ghana at the time, Rawlings and Kufuor, the next one after him, and all of that. What happened? Her father got on the plane with her for a school project. Her father left everything and got on the plane with her and traveled all the way to Ghana for her to go and have that first interview. What advantage are you willing to give your child as a parent? What are you willing to do for your child? How much are you willing to do for your child? What extra length are you willing to go for your child? Are you going to just sit down there and keep jumping from one lesson to another? Are you going to keep hiring one lesson teacher after every lesson teacher? Do you think that this is the only advantage that you can give to your child, to make sure that they come out with A's, A pluses throughout? Is this all that there is? Is this how they will navigate the world, simply because they can get A's in math and English and science? Is this all the advantage that you're willing to give your child? Is the only advantage you're willing to give your child being able to pay their school fees? Hello, Franca, I see you. Hi, Blessing. Hello, Joy. Thank you for joining. Tolu, Ayobami, every one of you. Okay, I can see who's the people on Instagram. If you're here, just say hello, say something in the comment, let us know. So how far are you willing to go for your child? What are you willing to do for your child? What kind of advantage are you willing to give your child? Okay, what advantage are you willing to give to your child? What extra are you willing to do for your child? Is it just paying school fees? Because I hear parents say every time, what I owe my children is to give them a good education. And when they say give them a good education like that, I bet you what they mean is take them to the right school. And most times for us, the right school is that school where you pay 1.8 million, where you pay 2 million, where you pay 3 million, where you pay 6 million in a year. I sent them to the best schools in the land. Right. So you send them to the best schools in the land. I made sure they had clothes over their back. I made sure there was always food in the house to eat. And so you have all this food, you have all these people to tend to them, you have all the people at home to tend to them. There's the food, there's everything, and then you carry your bag, you're all over the place. You are busy parents. You are busy. I mean, as far as you're concerned, you have given them all that you can give to them: school fees, good clothes, a big house, driver to drive them around, and of course, food to eat. No, there is much more we can do as parents. And I promise you, doing and giving your children these advantages do not necessarily mean that you have to pause your life, live your life, end your life, leave everything that you're doing. Sometimes it just requires a 30 minutes here, 1 hour here, once in a month, once in 3 months, once in 5 months. Could be all that you need to put your child, give your child that springboard that we are talking about. Give your child that advantage, that edge that we are talking about, that will help them stand out, that will help them be true kings that they were meant to be. That advantage that will propel your child and put your child on the path towards living their best life, living their purpose, the life for which, or the purpose for which God has created them. Because it's in living your purpose that you would optimize your life. The problem with us is what we think that, the best life is as parents. Well, a lot of us, especially in this part of the world, we just like to think that when we talk of the best life, it simply means that you have money. You have money, you build houses all over the place, and then your children can travel as they like. You travel with them, you come back with them, you build houses. They have houses to live in, and then you send them to the best schools, they graduate, and after that, you make sure that you hook them up with the best spouse, and then whoever you think is will not lead them to suffer. As I said at the beginning, most times all of these things we do is a projection. Coming from our experiences, coming from the life that we had. And so because of those experiences, we are afraid. We're afraid of our children having a certain kind of life because we know what it feels to be there. And so we base all our parenting on fear. Basically, when you are that, you cannot give your child the advantage. So we feel, we position them to be with the kind of people that we're sure they will not suffer. And so at the end of the day, we marry them out, or they marry these people, and then they have houses and have cars, and then they have children, and then we go and we clap and we say, oh, they have a good life. So that's why you see people say to you all over the place, over and over again, we turned out right. Because as far as we're concerned, this is what it takes to turn out right. But this is just one aspect, just one tiny little aspect of life. So you can't use this to base the fact that we turned out right. All right. So nicely, now the question you want to ask at this point is, now, Marybeth, what practical things can we do? Right? I'm sure. If you have the question, please put it there. Let me see. What question do you have for me at this point? What question do you have for me? But let me imagine, or let me guess. I am guessing the kind of question you'll probably have is, so what practical things can we do right now to give our children the advantage? Right? What can we do? How can we be? What can we be, or what can we do as parents? How can we position ourselves to give our children the right kind of advantage? So let's go there. All right. So first of all, okay, let's start from the part that, the part that is deep, and the part that we all, most times, right? That's where we all want to come from, right? So you want to give your child the advantage. First of all, you want to help that child recognize that there is something bigger than the child. Okay. So to give your child the advantage, you need to recognize, and you need to help your child recognize that there is something that is bigger than your child, and that's bigger than you. Okay. So please get yourself to that position where your child recognizes that they are not about you. It's not, them living their life is not for you. It's not you. Introduce your children to something that is bigger than you, that is bigger than them. So the first thing you want to introduce to your child that is bigger than you and bigger than them is God. Okay, so let your children recognize that there is a God. I don't know what your beliefs are, but I want to believe that whatever you believe in, there is a supreme being. There's something that is bigger than you. Even whether you're a Christian, of course, if you're a Christian like me, then you know that there is a God that is bigger than us. If you're a Muslim, then you know that there's an Almighty that is bigger than us, right? That is bigger than you. If you are even the traditional religion, for the traditional religion, whatever one you belong to, I'm sure there is a being that is bigger. Right? And then, of course, for people, there is the universe that is bigger. So you need to introduce your child to the fact that there's something that is bigger. And then you don't only introduce them to it. You need to model to your child how to reverence this mighty God that is bigger than them. You need to teach your child to have a personal relationship with your God. You need to teach your child to teach your child to recognize your God, to honor your God, because a time will come that your child will be great. Your child will be great. I know that. My children will be great. Your child will be great. And at the point where your child attains greatness, the only thing that will keep a ceiling over their head, or the only thing that will keep them in perspective, the only thing that will keep them humble, is the fact that they know that there is a being that is bigger than them. So yes, you want to do that right now, right from when your children are young, so that by the time they attain greatness, they don't think that they are everything. They've arrived. They have the universe in their hands and they can do as they like. So this will help your children to stay grounded. All right. So in doing that, what you want to do is right from when they are young, you want to teach them. You want to teach your children within a frame. You want to teach them within a frame. Everything you do with them, connect it with God. Everything you do with them, connect it with God. I'm not saying turn yourself into a preacher so that everything you are saying in your house is God say, God say, you go to hellfire. We do not want any form of fear-based parenting. Do not teach your children to honor God because they don't want to go to hellfire. It's a wrong place to teach your children about God from. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Stop projecting fear and making your children think that God is some mighty, mighty God that can turn into a villain at any point they do wrong. Let them know that God is almighty and God is good all the time, right? And God waits for them to adjust and come out of their mistakes because God is permanently waiting for them to return to Him. But let them know that there is something that is bigger than them. The other thing you want to make your children know is bigger than them is their purpose. Let them know that there is a purpose for which they were created. There is a purpose for which they exist. There is a purpose for which they are here. There is a purpose for which they are still alive. Let your children know that there is death. All of you that are always, every time, in fact, there are people now that have just opened my mouth to say death. You have already said God forbid. There are people who are so afraid of death. Oh my goodness. They are so afraid of death and they live in complete disillusion. They are delusional when it comes to death. It's like, hey, death is I don't know how to put it. How can you say you fear God? How can you say you are a Christian or a Muslim? How can you say that you know God and you are so afraid of death? Isn't it appointed unto all of us to die at some point? I mean, live your best life, okay? And then you'll be judged by that life. Isn't it what all the religions preach? So how can you make your children so afraid of death that you don't even want to say the word? If you read a sentence that says, and so the man died, you will say, God forbid. No, you're reading a sentence. You are still using the phrase God forbid. Please don't make your children so afraid of death. I remember the time my son was only 7 or 8, okay, and he had started his YouTube channel, and he went to school and told his friends, his principal, his head of school actually, talked about his YouTube channel, in the assembly and told the kids about it and told them to go watch science videos there. My son does science videos and all of that. They should go watch it there and all of that. Do you know what one of his classmates said to him the day afterwards? Okay, he must have gone home and probably asked the parents to let him use their phone or something to watch Kamsi's science videos. You know what the boy said to my son the next day? He said to him the next day that this one that you are doing science video, you don't know that people can come and kill you. But you don't know that people can come and kidnap you or they can come and kill you because you are doing science videos. So you see the kind of mentality we go about with and the kind of things that we sell to our children. How can you teach a 7-year-old to be so afraid to exist, to be so afraid to live, to be so afraid to impact the world simply because of fear? So meaning this child is going to go about limiting himself his entire life just because he feels that if he ever tries to live and be who God says he is, if he ever tries to impact the world with what he has within, if he ever allows his genius to show, if he ever allows himself to express what he has within, someone is waiting to kill him for it. Now, this kind of child will be limited for his entire life because he's so afraid that someone wants to kill him. So you see what we do as parents, instead of giving our children advantages, we end up limiting them. All right. So good. So you want to make your child recognize that there is a purpose that is bigger than you. It was predestined by God, and it is your responsibility, your child's responsibility, to find and connect with that purpose. But in the meantime, while they are young, in the meantime, while they're trying to recognize, identify with themselves who they are and all of that, you are going to hold forth and you're going to lead them or direct them on the path towards that purpose. And what's the path towards that purpose? It is you being a parent that is giving them advantages. It is you being a parent that is knowledgeable so you can give them advantages. It is you being a parent who does not have baggages so that you can parent, effectively. It is you putting your emotions in the right place so that you don't sabotage your children because you are all over the place with your emotions. It is you dealing with your issues and not projecting them in the life of your children. And so stifling your children, reducing them, limiting them simply because you have not dealt with your own issues. Okay? So that's number one. Let them know that there is something bigger. God is bigger. Let your children understand purpose and let them know that part of their purpose is that they're able to impact the world. We were created to impact this world. We were created to make a difference in the world. We were created to make the world better. So let your child know that it is a responsibility. It is a calling that they are giving back to the world. For every of the children in this book, for every child in Bedtime Stories for Champions, there is, each and every one of these kids are already giving back to their society. Each and every one of the kids in this book are already giving back to their society. So this is the book you want to spend Christmas holidays reading with your child. Let your children begin to understand the place of inspiration, the place of purpose, and the place of impact, right? Imagine a world where the Wright brothers did not do all that they did in the area of aviation and planes and all of that. Imagine a world where, imagine the world where the Albert Einstein did not do the things that they did. Imagine the world that there were no, what's his name? What was the artist now? Da Vinci, right? Leonardo, right? Imagine a world without the Leonardo da Vinci's, a world without all these amazing, all these great people who have given us, the kind what we have. Imagine a world without the Mark Zuckerbergs and the Bill Gates and all of these people, Elon Musk and all these people who are creating inventions that are making our lives better. So how can you have a child and you are not teaching the child that they were born to create? How can you have a child and the child is sitting down in your home and not giving back or not impacting the world with whatever they have, however little they have? Okay, so when my son started the YouTube channel, it was simply because we needed him to start thinking of himself as someone that can give back to the world. When he started the juice company, it was because we told him, you can I mean, he had stepped into it on his own, but hey, we're able to take that interest that he had and we're able to make him, I mean, attach purpose to it. You are a solution creator. You create solutions. So look around you. Yes, there is a problem. They create solutions for it. People want drinks. People want to drink and create something that they can have. This is it. Basically, you're saying to your child at the point where you are, you can make a difference. Some children are struggling. They don't understand science concept. They don't understand some science concept. And you do understand this. Then go ahead, put them in a childlike way and teach it to these children. What we were trying to do with him is say to him, the world needs you. Someone needs you. You were created to impact. You were created to make a difference. Go start making a difference even if you are 7. It's not because we wanted to show off that our child knows something. It's not because we wanted to show off. Nobody has ever said anything about one result that our kids have. I've never pasted any result or report card. No way, that's not the goal. The goal is for the child to know that he was created to impact and make a difference and that he can do it right from the cradle. From today, there is no rule that says you need to be 80 before you become a president. There is no rule that says you need to be 50 before you become a CEO. There is no rule that says you need to be 40 before you start your company. There is no rule that says you need to be 30 before you start a business. There is no rule that says you need to be even 20 before you make your first million. Go ahead and start impacting the world. When my son created his goal for last year, okay, when he created his goal at the end of last year for this year, I said to him, okay, your financial goal, what's your financial goal for the year? I'm not joking with you. My 10-year-old said to me, my financial goal is to make 1 million naira. That's what my 10-year-old said to me. And I said, put it down there. What's in there happen? I said, nothing there happen. Put it right there. All right? Put it right there. Your financial goal is to make 1 million naira in the year. Why not? Put it right there. So that is it. Have you heard about his vision board party? So my son is having a vision board party in Abuja. So if you are in Abuja, right, he's having a vision board party for children between the ages of 7 and 13. All right, in that vision board party, he wants to sit with children about his age and help them begin to think of themselves as creators. He wants them to begin to think of themselves as people that can take the front stage in their lives. He wants them to start setting goals just the way he started setting goals right from when he was about 7. If I tell you most of the things that my son has done, they don't just come from nowhere. They are goals that we created at the end of 1 year and we went to work. So because there is a vision, because there is a goal, right? Because there's a vision, there is a goal, right? There is a vision board with that vision right on it, right? Because there's a vision board with that vision right on it. We're able to sit down and create affirmation, okay? We're able to create affirmation based on the vision on this board. And he's able to say those affirmations to himself every day. So he wakes up and he stands in front of his vision board and he's able to tell his subconscious, this is what I want to achieve. This is what I want to do. This is who I am. And then he's able to turn to God and say, Father in heaven, these are my vision and all that. So everything is taking it in. His subconscious is taking it in. I am agreeing with him. The heavens are agreeing with him. Come on. They will all come to life. I promise you. So this is what he wants to do with your children. He wants to take them through a visualization process. He wants them to meet some of his coaches and his mentors. Okay, so he will have his mentors. He will have his coaches at this vision board party. Of course, it's about the time of his birthday, so he wants to sort of, commemorate it sort of. It's before his birthday, but basically it's a party. So there's going to be food, there's going to be the vision board, there's going to be visualization, there's going to be all his mentors interacting with the kids. So yes, if you're in Abuja, please, there is the link in the group. Just key in there. Just register your child. If you have children between 7 and 13, it's going to be an amazing experience for your child. And yes, we also have the online version, right? So yes, if you're not in Abuja, you're not left out. We have the online version and it's going to be amazing as well. We will have all the speakers also, but it just happens that you will have to create your own vision board. You will have to get your own vision board and get your own cards, because for the people that are coming, we're going to have all these cards for them. that they can pick something based on their own, vision for the year, and all of that. So if you're not attending the physical one, you will have to provide your own vision board and your own material, but you will be a part of it. It's going to be deep and the same impact basically, and you have to provide your own snack, right, during the vision board, so we can celebrate with you as well. All right, so to join the vision board for Abuja, it's just 5,000 naira, and the 5,000 naira takes care of your board, a recyclable board that you can use over and over again. The board on its own is almost 3K. Okay, and then other materials that you'll be using for the vision board and all that. So basically, you want to connect and be a part of this. It's going to be an amazing experience. All right, so basically that. All right, so basically there is more to your child. That's what I'm trying to say to you. There is so much more to your child. You're ready to position yourself to help them believe that they are, okay? Believe that there is more to them. Believe that they are giants. Believe that they are kings. Believe that they are capable, and they're capable, of all of these amazing things. All right, so that's number one. We'll take the rest of it very quickly because we have just about, we still have about 20 minutes. Yeah, okay. Maybe a little less than that. All right, so the next thing, you want to love your child unconditionally. All right, so for you to be a parent who gives your child an advantage, or you give your child that advantage, then you must be the parent that loves their child unconditionally. Now, this is where you have every parent say, of course, yeah, I love my children unconditionally. Wahoo. Not true. We all think that we love our children unconditionally, but it so happens that we actually do not. Okay? It happens that we really do not love our children unconditionally, right? We come, as I said, we come from a place of our journey, where we're coming from. And then by the time our children are born, we have all these rules, all these boundaries, what we think they should be, the kind of people that they can be, and all of that. So basically what we do through our lives is we're constantly telling them what they should be, where they should go, what they should do, and all of that. And for every time a child doesn't fit into that template, for every time the child doesn't fit into that template of what we have projected or what we have in our head that they should be, for every time they're not, that child now falls into the category of children that we call stubborn, falls into the category of children that we call strong-headed, falls into the category of children that are problematic. So such children are always being told how they are stubborn, how they are problematic, how their wahala is too much. Before you know, you're probably not even saying it to the child, but you are living it. You're living it. The child can see that he's a problem to you. The child can see that this is how you view him, basically, and all of that. Especially when you now have another child that probably fits into the templates that you have created in your head, in your subconscious, of who a good child is supposed to be. So whether you're comparing them directly or indirectly, because most times you talk to parents, but no, I don't compare my children. Sometimes it's not in the words. You don't have to compare them. Look at Ada. Ada is even better. No, you don't have to do that. Even though we have parents who go that far, comparing their children, they push the successes of one child in the face of the other child over and over again. And you want that child to be normal. No, that child cannot be normal. Okay, and then apart from that, the way you attend to this other child, the way you act around this other child is a constant reminder to this other child that there is something wrong with them. And then there's this other one we do that we don't even know how it is. So the children write an exam or they do something like that and they don't do well. Then they come home. Whoa, it is fire at home. You didn't do well. So you take this privilege, you take that privilege, you take this one away, you take that one away. Some parents go as far as, they go as far as beating the children. They go as far as even not speaking to the children. You do all kinds of things just to register the fact that thing they did, you will not take it. So what are you doing as a parent at this point? Let me tell you what you're doing. You're saying to the child, I love you. I would always love you, provided you are doing well. The moment you don't do well, I will love you. Because, hey, who even told us? Really, this, God, who even told us, right, that Our children know that, oh, this is you are doing for them, you are doing for their good. That's what you say to them. You gather them around and you say to them, oh, this is I'm doing for your good. Do you understand? And then they nod their head. What else do you want them to do? What else do you want them to see? Or what do you want them to say? They will nod their head, but their brain is not nodding its head to that shit. Sorry. Their brain is not nodding its head to that thing you're saying. No, the subconscious is not going to relay this to this child when he's a teenager. He's not going to say to him, oh, that time I insulted or abused you. That time that I beat you every time you were not successful. That time that I did all of these things. It's not going to say to them that, okay? What's going to happen is when your child becomes older, the child becomes 30, 20, 30, 40. In their 30s or 40, they begin to give themselves reasons why they should understand what you did. That's what happens to a lot of us, okay? So we get to 30 and 40, then we begin to tell ourselves, okay, no, it was for my good, it was for my dad. Now you begin to give yourself reasons to connect or to love your parents. Why do you want to allow your child go through all this? Why do you want to wait till your child is 30 and 40 before they begin to make excuses for what life you could have enjoyed, or what connection you could have had? Why do you want them to get to 30, 40 before they begin to work at connecting with you? When you can connect with your children their entire life, and you can have a good relationship, a good connection that will sustain you. Who told you will live for the rest of your life? Who told you that you will be here when your children are 40? I know you will say, God forbid again. God forbid. But hey, we are who we are. Let's be as realistic as possible. I'm not saying anybody's going to die or not going to be here. What I'm saying is, let's live our best life. Let's allow our children enjoy the best of us. Whether you like it or not, your children are growing. Whether you like it or not, they will soon leave. Why don't you make the memories of your home? Why don't you make the memories that they have with you worthwhile? Why don't you give your children the right reason to come back home? A lot of us, the reason our children keep running home or coming back home is because there's DSTV. The game is there. You pay the subscription. You give them the good food. Our children run home to you. Your children run home to you, not because of you. They run home to you because of the things that you can provide. So basically, you're just like an ATM machine to your child. You don't want to do that, right? So when you have those things, your children do well in school, hey, they're good, that holiday is good, you treat them well. When they do bad, you give them fire. No, what you're telling that child is this love is conditional, okay? It's the same way. So in my home, we celebrate, the best times that we celebrate everybody during their birthday. So it doesn't matter where we are at. It doesn't matter what's going on. During birthdays, we celebrate ourselves like however small we can. If it's we can afford big, we do big. If we can afford small, we do small. But we celebrate each other during our birthdays. We celebrate each other during anniversaries and all of that. Then we celebrate each other every time we have the opportunity to celebrate each other. We do that, and then we spend and we create time to have one-on-one time with our children, when we go out with children and have fun, mommy time with me, daddy time with me, and all of that. We get off school, and before we get home, if we decide, surprise, I could decide to give them a treat and all of that. Now, we don't keep this and reserve them for days that your child wins a competition. So when your child wins a competition, yay! That day, you're going to buy this for them, buy that for them, buy them. What you are saying to this child is, you are a perfect child only when you are succeeding. You are an excellent, you are my child. You are worth it only when you are succeeding. So no, there are these small things we do and we don't know, the repercussion, or we don't know the sense behind them. We need to be more conscious and more purposeful about what we do as parents. Okay, let's go. I will do the rest of it in 5 minutes. So the next one is you need to be that parent who is excited about your children. You're excited about their creation. You're excited about their exploration and their experiment. You have to be a parent who who is willing to allow your child experiment. That's the only way you can. That's another way that you can give them the advantage. So if you're that parent that every time they open their fridge, will you close that door? They touch it up. Will you drop this? Children are scientists by nature. They're scientists. They were born scientists. Okay, so they need to roll the bottle to see whether it will break. They need to take your flour and mix it. Oh my goodness! They need to take your flour and mix it with salt and sand. Your children need to experiment. Okay, your children need to experiment. So if you are the parent that is constantly you're constantly concerned about how pretty your space looks. You're constantly concerned about what they're spoiling, what they are not spoiling, what they are touching. Don't touch this, don't touch that, don't touch that. What this does to the brain is it makes the brain, why you keep saying no this, no that, no. Too many no's shuts down the creative part of the child's brain. It shuts down the part of the child brain that is intuitive. So what you're doing is you are shutting down that part of their brain that allows them to be intuitive, that one that makes them try things. And this is how inventors are. I mean, have you not heard? A lot of inventors tried hundreds of times before they could make their break. A lot of inventors tried 500, 5,000 times before they made their breaks. So now you are not even allowing your child try at all. All they hear is no in a day. The number of no's that some of our children have, because we want them to be prim and proper a certain way. And then society and our culture has told us that an obedient child, or a good child, is a child who is obedient. A good child is the one that is calm. So you see parents and you see them with their children. The parents are sitting on the pew and their two children are sitting side by side them, and the children are quiet and they are calm the whole time. They are there sitting down quietly and calmly. And then society tells you that these are children who have home training. Society tells you that these are parents who do not say, these are good. I mean, these are very good parents and all of that. So we lie to ourselves about these things and we think that. So the fact that you stifle your children, you cocoon them, you stifle them, you limit them, you plug their wings, and then you don't allow them to be intuitive. So those children don't have intuitions anymore. These are the children that danger will be coming and they will not even know what to do, because you have killed their intuition. You have killed that instinct, the first instinct to do. You have killed it with your many no's. There, shout, there. You can't go outside. You can't play outside. Be in the house. What is all this? All right. So for you to give your child the advantage, you must be a parent who is excited about their creation. A parent who, the other day, my son was making custard. I mean, see, my camera, right? My phone camera is ready, like 247. My camera is rolling. I cannot afford not to have space on my phone. I wake up in the morning, and by the time I'm done with all my morning routine, the first thing I do is I empty whatever needs to be empty, because I need my camera ready. I take pictures of moments. It has nothing to do with being on this space. When my son was giving the TEDx speech, okay, so my son did a TEDx. I mean, he was on TEDx, the international TEDx, So he was on TEDx recently, and for his slide, they needed some sort of a slide, because he was talking about the importance of intentional parenting and all of that. So they needed slides, to project during the speech and all that. I gave them slides right from when my son was 9. I mean, the first slide was when he was 9 months. Every slide was in correlation with what he was talking about. No, my camera did not start rolling. It started rolling right from when BlackBerry. Before even BlackBerry, my little Samsung camera has been rolling. So if you come to my home, we have endless memories. So the children can actually take the media player and say, my daughter will actually say, I want to watch my baby videos. And then she goes there and she can entertain herself, okay, for a whole 1-2 hours with videos of her life. So a it's rolling. It has nothing to do with this space. It's rolling because we're creating memories. So the other day he was making custard, and he made the custard and he made it so well. I had to make a video of it celebrating that tiny little win. So for some people, you could see that. I will put it on my status probably, because I am encouraging parents and I'm teaching parents and I'm saying to parents, there is so much you can do with these children. There is so much you can, the advantages you can give your children are so many. It's not necessary. We do not want, we're not shining. We're not doing that. We're not putting ourselves out there, just for the sake of it. We're putting it there because we know that this could be the reason a parent decides to be present. A parent decides to do more, right? So we celebrate the silliest things you don't want to imagine. Okay, so you need to celebrate these children, celebrate their curiosity, celebrate everything that they do. This is where confidence comes from. This is where their self-esteem is built from. This is where creativity, this is how inventors are created. This is how inventions are made, through trials, exploration, creativity, nonsense kind of play and things, as we like to see it. Okay? Next one, you need to be emotionally available. You need to be emotionally available for you to give your children the advantage. I could sleep on this topic. Okay? I could sleep right here. Right? How parents, the number of excuses that we make. So the other day, a while ago, I was in a garden. I was somewhere with some people, how we are gisting and all that, and something came up about random gist, and then we arrived at the fact that some parents are not available, and then the teachers are supposed to fill in. The teachers are supposed to fill in. The parents are paying so much money, so why would the parents pay so much money and have to be the one to teach their children certain skills, or have to be the one to make sure that... And I said in that space, I said, there's no excuse. If you're not ready for children, don't have them. If you cannot support your children, don't have them. If you cannot be there for your children, don't have them. And they actually looked at me like, this is insensitive. But sorry. At the time, it wasn't the right crowd, so I just smiled and left it. But hey, if you're not ready for children, don't have them. Another human being cannot come and suffer just so that you can have your perfect life. Another human being cannot come and suffer so that you can live your best life. These children did not ask to be born. They did not ask to be a part of your family. You chose to have children. It's crazy at the point where we're trying to have children, where we go everywhere. We go all the length. We take excuses from these offices. Some of us, we get pregnant and we have to be on bed rest. And you have to be on bed rest for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months. And the office does not die. The office does not break. Nothing happens. Your business does not end. Nothing happens. You take it just to have the child. Then when you finish having the children, to spend time for them, you now have all the excuses. We need to make ends meet. We need to make money. We need to send them. You will finish sabotaging those children. Then you make the money and then you will chop the money. No, because at the end of it, it's ironical. We say we're making money so that we can give them the best life. Then you finish making the money and giving them the best life, and you don't have the person who you are giving a life. He can't stand you. Your child cannot stand you. The child cannot hug you. Your child cannot be free with you. Your child cannot mingle with you. Your child cannot speak to you. Your child will rather talk to complete strangers who do not pay any school fees, who do not pay any money, who don't buy them clothes, who don't buy them food. Doesn't that tell you something? That what your child needs is really not those food and everything. But let me tell you what's happening with you. It is not about the child. It is about you. You need people to know that you can send your child to this school. You need people to see that your children are looking good. You need people to see that your children went to prestigious school. So by and large, it is about you. So the only time you can tell me that your parenting is not about you, it's when you are emotionally present for your children, when they can talk to you, when you can come and drop everything and say to them, buddy, how was school today? Come, I got 10 minutes. Can we talk? When you can deliberately come home and you can say, hey, sweetie, how are you today? And everything, come and tell daddy what happened in your life today. Not when you are constantly, you will come home, you have a frown, you go home, you have a frown in your face, you cannot even connect with these children, you have nothing to do with everybody. And then when they ask you, you talk about all the bills that you have to pay and all the things that you have to do. So because of that, why you are paying bills, why you are being like that, why you are being unreachable, why you are being unaskable, why you are being all of that, the children are growing. The children are growing. Perhaps at some point, the bills and all of this will balance. When they are 16, there will be nobody to spend that time with you anymore. It's not fun anymore. They don't want to be with you anymore. But at that point, you have reached that point in your life where the bills are paid easily. But hey, you've messed up everything. What am I saying? We can still do all of this together. There's nothing that says that you need to spend 12 hours, 4 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours with your children. Sometimes it is just in the 10 minutes, the 15 minutes, but consistent. Let me tell you, parents, if you're just talking to your children, you're not present. You need to get dirty. You need to play with your children. You need to be on the ground with your children. You need to be all over the place with your children. You need to be that parent that your children can jump on you and do all of those things with you. You see, what happens to us is we get so... See, I told you I can be here for 2 days. So let's move on to the last one. So the last one is you need to allow your children become independent. You need to be that parent that allows your children be independent. You need to be that parent that is not bailing your children constantly for you to be that parent that gives them the fair or the advantage, parenting advantage. I was with my bosom friend yesterday. I was with Wendy Ologe yesterday, and we were talking about, bailing our children. You know how we bail our children every time? We don't even realize how much we bail our children, especially our boys. We keep bailing our children. We keep bailing them from every situation. And that's the reason our children are not able to do anything on their own. Okay? So what happens is, at the point our children are very young, when they are born, right, and they are helpless. They're born and they're helpless. Oh, they're so cool. They're so warm. They're so cuddly. They're so everything. Because at that point, they solely depend on you. So you realize, even for the busy father, even for the father, that's the time he can carry them and cuddle them. We love it when they are like that, when they belong to us. And so we get we become delusional as parents, right? We now get to the point and we begin to lie to ourselves. We not tell ourselves that our children belong to us or that we own our children. Take your seats. Let me tell you a fact. Your child is not your property. Your child is a life, is another life, is an entity. It does not belong to you. The earlier you know this and get your peace. Your child does not belong to you. Your child is not your property. Your child, you are just a channel through which that child came to life. The child does not belong to you, dear parents. Okay? So what we do is, at that point, they are helpless. They're totally dependent on us and all of that. We're so excited and all that. They can't ask us any question. So they begin to get older. As they get older, we insist on them needing us. We insist on them not being able to exist without us. We insist on us being useful in their lives. So through while they are 4 and 5 and 8 and 10, and before we know it, they are 12, we are still insisting on the fact that they need us. So that's the reason we don't teach them skills that will help them navigate the world on their own. That's the reason we don't teach them skills to be autonomous. So our children are not autonomous. We want to control our children. And so we continue to control them without knowing what damage this is doing. It is building resistance. So when you control, the person becomes resistant, right? Basically. All right. So we continue to control them because in our head, they belong to us. In our head, they still need us like they needed us as infants. Right? So the child grows and then the child becomes a teenager. And you are still insisting that you belong to me. You are still insisting that the child needs you. And then the child wakes up one day and the child, whether directly or indirectly, saying it or not saying it, the child begins to ask you, who the heck do you think you are? That's what happens. At some point, the child will ask you directly or indirectly, who the heck do you think you are? I am a human being. Let me be. Hi, I'm P. Nana. All right, it's good to have you. Hi, Franca. So we get to the point our children, through their behavior, begin to ask us, who do you think you are, coming here to come and control everything that is my life? So at that point, we begin to fight and we begin to tussle. So that's what you see during those that teenage tussle is the child saying, who do you think you are? And then the parent saying, you belong to me. I will tell you what to do, how to think, who to be, how. So at the end of the day, your teenage parent relationship is turbulent, horrible. The final disconnection happens at this point. This is where children begin to hate their parents, whether they say it or they don't say it. No, that small hatred is laced or is covered by the fact that they need us for their everyday needs. So the fact that the child needs to come home and watch DSTV, the game is you that provides the game, it's you that provides the DSTV, it's you that provides the food, it's you that pays the school fees, it's you that does all of this. So they come back because you are the one who still provides all of these things, basically. And then that's the point you begin to lie to yourself. I love them unconditionally. I love them. Can you love a child more than the mother? We begin to lie to ourselves because we will not allow ourselves come to terms with the way we feel about this child inside, because of the resistance that the child is posing at the time. So we mess up the relationship. Basically, a lot of parents mess up the relationship at this point, basically, because the child is asking you, who do you think you are? Because you've not allowed this child to gain expression, learn how to express themselves, learn how to navigate, learn how to do for themselves. You're constantly bailing them. Then at some point now, they've resisted you so much, you don't have a choice. So you step back because the resistance is that much. So of course, you don't want them to shame you. You don't want them to shame you in front of people or whatever it is. You get to the point, or you just come to the realization that there's nothing I can do at this point. So you back off at this point. So when you back off at this point, the children don't have the skills to navigate on their own. Remember, you didn't teach them. You didn't allow them. You had the house girl, the house boy, everybody bailing them everywhere. So at this point, you're on their own and they can't do anything on their own because they can't do it because they don't have the ability to. So what do? You now come and you continue to bail them. You continue to bail them. When they cannot do this, you come in and you provide the solution. Small, you're bailing them. Then the point will now come, they leave your home. And then when they leave your home, they're constantly on the phone looking for you. Not because they love you, not because they need, not because they love you, not because not for the best reasons, because they need you. So sort this out, sort that out. So they get married, you are still providing, you're still doing for them. They go out, you are still fixing. Before you know it, your whole life, you've not empowered your children. You have not given your children the advantage. You have just slaved and you just continue to slave because you have conditioned this kind. You've conditioned your children this way. All right, parents. So this is it. This is where I'm going to have to stop today. So as I said, Kamsi has the vision board party. You should register your children. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. If you cannot be in Abuja for the physical one, you can be online with us. He's taking just 25 children. The moment we get 25, we will shut down registration. So if I were you, I will register. But I promise you, the trajectory, your child will completely change after this vision board. The child will begin to see himself as an empowered person that can take on life and begin to move on his own, no matter, even if they are 7 years old. All right, most of what I shared today about parents who are positioning themselves is from Bedtime Stories for Champions. So you can get a copy of Bedtime Stories for Champions from our seller store on our page. Our account number is there. It's 3,000 Naira. You can get that. Just send us a message here or anywhere. My number is everywhere. You can send us a message to get that. And then if you want to be under my tutelage, doing all of this, me supporting you to be 100% that parent that can support your child, then you want to join our Mentor Parent program. It's a program where we hold the hands of our parents for a whole term. for the whole of second term, beginning January 5th, right? 3rd or 5th. We're going to hold your hands for a whole 3 months, working with your children in every aspect of their education, their life skills, their academic skills, every aspect of their lives. Let me put it that way. You can ask first-hand questions. We will give you ways to step down skills to your children. Everything you want to do with your children, all you need to do is tell us, this is what I want to see. We will build a plan for you that you will use and work with your children. And before you know it, you will start seeing results. The parents that joined us for first 10, their results are remarkable. All right. So if you want to be a part of this, just send us a message, put it here, Mentor Parents Program, and then we will reach out to you on how to register. So thank you very much, everyone who made time to be here. Thank you, Franca. Thank you, Nana. Thank you, Tolu. Thank you, Ayobami. Ikalon was here. Hey, Tunde. Thank you, everyone who was here. I hope you got value. If you did, please put it right there in the comments. If you have questions, I can't see any question, and we'll be ready to answer your questions. Thank you very much for joining me. This is me signing out. My name is Maribeth Chima, and I'm always delighted to be on your screen and to be a part of your parenting journey. Have a lovely, lovely afternoon. Bye.